Oh, dinky do me hearties. It's just me, Scottie McClue. And we are, of course, live on the big one. It's Saturday night. It's 9 o'clock. Nothing gets past me, of course. And here we are all together again. How amazing is that? Maggie's joined us. Jay's joined us. Isn't that beautiful? Magician has joined us. Dinky do Steph have joined us. Woo woo. Fantastic. Now, guys, remember to tell me where you are watching from. That's the most important thing. We've only got 1 hour of superb, scintillating information, education, and entertainment. So lovely to have you with us. And we've got 1 or 2 other platforms joining us tonight. So there might be a bit of a crowd. We like that. There's Reese saying, dinky do, Scottie McClue. Good evening, Scottie, says Susan. And welcome, I say, to every single one of you. How amazing is that? Lovely, lovely stuff. And dinky do, I say to you. So there we are. Dinky do, me hearties. Amy's joined us. Hi, Scottie and everyone. Good evening, Topsway. Scottie, fancy bumping into you. I know it's a complete accident, isn't it? Just amazing, I tell you. So there we are. We're an accident waiting to happen. Remember, people used to say that to you. There's the wonderful Neil O'Gormley. A Paisley man, but in Bournemouth. John's joined us, Dazza and Faye. Guys, tell us where you're watching from so I can give you a shout out. I think that's very important. Scottie, we're tuning in from Taunton in Somerset. Reese, we like Somerset. Are you having some cider? There's Evening Scottie, says the wonderful Murray O'Donnell on the YouTube feed. And here's Ilona Rose in North Carolina. I've been told I do very well in the Carolinas if I go to America. I'm from Wales, says Faye. We love it. I say to you, Yakida and Nosta and all that sort of stuff. Professor Numpty, he's a wee bit late as always, but he has joined us. My chat's always accidental, says Tups. I tell you, phone's going. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that? Hello? Can you hear me? There we are. No, not a word. So there we go. So I don't know what's happened there. I'm here, Scottie. I'm here. I tell you, yes, indeed. Charlie's joined us as well. Scottie, well, let's get rid of you, Charlie, because you are obviously not the type that should be on here, I say to you. So there we are. So let's get you away out the road. Fantastic. Right, that's that. What you'd be better doing, Charlie, why don't you just do colouring in? That's the thing for you. Hi, says Harry, dinky do, Harry the Druid. How lovely is that? I say to you. There we are. Let's get rid of Harry. Fantastic. Right. He's gone. Guys, remember never to scroll, never to troll, because any trolls just wheesh straight off, lifetime ban. You should be smart enough to know that. There's Melissa says, oh my gosh, I'm trying to study the Word of God and accidentally clicked on. Well, you'll get the Word of God on here, I tell you. You're live on Scottie's phone in. Who's that?
Hello.
Hello, who's that?
How are you? It's John.
John, lovely to hear you. How you think you do?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Very well, yes, better for hearing you. What would you like to talk about?
Could we talk about the political state of the world right now?
The political state of all Britain. Well, I'm not really
Yeah.
a political animal, but what particular part was worrying you?
Just about like the dangers of football. See, like how Rangers and Celtic.
Yes.
Well, play.
Yes. So you're talking about the sectarian behaviour.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And it can get out of hand.
Yeah, it can really, because I've seen some videos the other night about the Celtic fans and Rangers fans fighting.
Well, I think what we're needing to do is that you can't go to an Old Firm derby without taking somebody from the other side with you. So you've got to go in as buddies. And I think we should have Rangers and Celtic standing together.
Yeah, I think I noticed you from some. Did you go help out by any chance?
Oh, I might have done, I tell you. I won't go into that. So there we go. The trolls need to go back under their slabs. Absolutely, I tell you. Murray, lovely to have you with us. And dinky do. I said to you, this brings back memories, says one of our LinkedIn users. How amazing is that? So lovely to have you with us, folks. Can you make sure that you subscribe and follow? So there you are. I tell you that. Good evening, Scotty, Dinky Doo. Good evening, Kevin. How lovely to have you with us. Hang on, I'm just about to dump a wee troll there. Who have we got? That's, yes, there we are. Connor. So let's get rid of Connor. Let's get rid of Connor. He has got no honour. There we are. He's gone. We won't be hearing from him again, I tell you. You're live on Scotty's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, Scotty. How's it going, mate?
How's it going? Who have we got here? First name?
You've got David. David. I'm always messages for donkeys.
David, how lovely to hear you and Dinky Doo.
Well, you know, my good mate, Edward's phoning all the time me as well. We were great pals of yours, Scotty.
Great buddies, I tell you. It's good to hear from you.
How are you doing, mate?
Well, I'm fantastic. I'm loving this show, to be honest with you, David. It's incredible.
I agree with that, mate. Listen, it's all but that's what you should do back though. See proper phone-in shows.
Yes, we don't get enough of them.
You don't get that now because you listen to radio shows now, and I'm sitting a good mate of mine's, James.
Yes.
And we you know, radio shows, you don't get phone-in shows. I know you get a phone-in, whatever.
That's all about. You see, even the football phone-ins, if you're not a football person, it's a bit dull.
You know me, I'm a big blue nose.
You know, yeah, but I mean, if you're not a football person, a football phone-in can be a bit dull.
Aye, but the thing is, no, it's not. But listen, so as I was saying, remember I asked you about the one with the Hamilton Mausoleum?
Yes, the Hamilton Mausoleum, yes, with the lions.
Yeah. Correct. No, that's all Corden Daft now.
Oh, can you not go and see it?
Well, it's kind of. You used to be able to get in there any time, Scotty.
It's a wee bit. Yes, you could. It's a wee bit leaning, is it not? Did it move with the settlement?
Well, that's the settlement. Aye, that's because that's the what do you call it? The Hamilton Palace.
Yes, the old Hamilton Palace they took down in 1929 or something like that.
Yeah, and it used to be Bothwell Hall as well.
Bothwell Hall, that's right. And there was a village there, wasn't there, that went under the lake?
Correct.
Yes, and under the wee lochen.
Correct. And Bothwell Hall, there's actually Barnes Hall is a
mining village.
Aye, but Barnes Hall is actually a kind of. There's an actual kind of birch hides and stuff like that in there. So there's a big lock in there.
Wow.
They used to be able to go through. Now the Strathclyde Park actually leads into that.
Yes. And it's huge. And that would have been all that, the palace grounds. And the palace would have gone right over to Châtellerault at one point.
But Scott, you've just taken the words out of my there.
Amazing. And it had here's somebody here, here's Amy going, the Hamilton Mausoleum, didn't that have the loudest echo in Britain?
Oh, you better believe it.
Now wait till I tell you, here's a story I never told you, right? There's the wonderful Gordon Roddick. Hi, Scotty, good to see you again. That is one of the most wonderful guys. He was our first announcer on Scottish television.
Well, Scotty, can I say something to you? I know exactly who you're talking about there. I've known the guy, but I've listened to you for years.
Yes.
And you used to phone L107, all that kind of stuff, you know, Billy Wishy,
all that. Fantastic. This is wonderful.
Moldy Old Joe.
Moldy Old Joe. He was amazing.
He used to drive you crazy.
He used to get so angry, didn't he, Moldy Joe? What's going on here? What's going on?
I used to, I think he was the snorer.
The snorer was him. Ah. Now, wait till I tell you this. I don't know if I told you, but I had a psychic guy came up to 107, and I took him to the Mausoleum.
Chris?
No, I don't think it was.
Was it no guy from McCann?
No. This was a psychic guy from down south, and he came up, and we went to the Mausoleum. We had a wee meal in the town, at the Chinese in the town, And
Liverpudlian.
aye,
The
that's
guy-
it. He was.
What do you call him? I know exactly. who he is.
You know who I mean? That's right. Well,
Aye.
we went down to
Lovely
the
guy.
mausoleum, and it was about 9 o'clock at night, about this time of year. And he
Right.
went, I said, it's very peaceful. I said, there's no remains of any humans in it now, and they've all gone up to the wee cemetery, to the bent. Anyway, he says to me, oh no, it's very, very scary, actually. And I said, how? He went, well, you can't see what I can see. And I said, what can you see? He said, a lot of very sad, distressed people walking about. And there was nobody there that I could see in reality. Do you know what I mean?
Well, Scotty, I'm going to say a couple of wee things here. Sorry if I'm taking up your time.
No, we love it. That's what the time's for.
But what I'm going to say here, so my dad passed away a couple of years ago there, and he's actually going to be 68 tomorrow.
Right.
So Edward, who used to phone you as well, was a very good mate of mine, Edward Gunn. A great guy. He used to phone Eddie. He used to great talks and that on the phone.
Yes.
Now, I'd spoke about. It was a kind of. I remember you said with your dog one day. Came in one day in the studios.
Yes.
Was it the old
Lord
It
Reith.
wasn't the old Nido. Aye, but where was the studio again? It wasn't.
Oh, L107, yeah, up in Bothwell Road.
Aye, but it wasn't at that time. Remember, you said that there was a guy in, and the dog actually knew that there was somebody there.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Oh, yes, all sorts
Right.
of things. And no,
Right.
somebody had phoned in and asked if I had a dog in the studio. And I said, why do you ask? He went, I'm blind, I hear his collar medal. Whereas somebody sighted probably wouldn't have heard it.
Correct. And the Brendan for the County Derry used to phone in as well. But,
Brendan came in, and Brendan was blind as well. Or
right.
visually challenged. Lovely guy.
I remember they came to your door early in the L107. He said, I can't really come that early. The door was rattling. Remember the L107?
That's right. Absolutely wonderful. No, it's great stuff. It's lovely to hear you, and thanks for coming on, and we'll have more chats.
Listen, Scotty, it's great to hear from you, mate, and I appreciate you taking my call tonight because
your call's been fantastic.
Listen, mate, I've all the time in the world for you. I've listened to you for years now. So
fantastic. Dinky do.
Thank you, Scotty.
Dinky do, la. What a fine fellow. That's great. Now, a lot of stuff from you guys. The loch next to the centre in Motherwell, that's right. Elise says, say a big hello to Kate. We had a wonderful week together up in the gorgeous English Lake District. So special to be able to spend quality time with a best friend. So, Kate, if you're watching right now, a big dinky do from Alice. I tell you. The Water Sports Centre, that's right. Tups were here. I'm hoping you phone in later, says Janet, to give us all a good laugh. We like that. Janet, that's very kind of you. It's busy tonight, so I might give others a go. No, you come on, Tups. You're live on Scotty's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, Scotty. How are you getting on, son?
Are you dinky do? Who's that? First name?
It's David here. How are you getting on?
David, lovely to hear you. I'm getting on beautifully.
Well, that was all. I just wanted to check you're all right because, I care about you a lot, Scotty.
You're a very fine man, and it's very good to hear you.
Right, well, love you, bye.
Hey, a dinky do-la. Thanks for ringing in. That's our David there. That was good stuff. Understood, says Janet. Good to see you, Scotty. A listener from the mid-90s when I worked night shift in Glasgow. You kept us all going, says Mark, with your great. And I don't know what the next bit is. I think we've run out of space. For reasons of space. We love that. It was James Bunn, Scotty. He did the phone and talk. Professor Numpty, don't be silly. The man's a genius. You're live on Scotty's Phone In. Who's that?
Hello, it's Gordon, Scotty.
Gordon.
It is.
How lovely to hear you. This is an honour, by the way. I've told you, and I know you get a bit fed up with me. When I just tell people just what a great guy you are, but it's so lovely to hear you. How are you
I'm
keeping?
getting just talk back some. I'm not quite sure why that is.
All right, a bit of talk back.
I think that's it now, yes.
Are we sorted? Lovely, lovely.
What I wanted to say was, Scotty, most people now are on social media, and that's very good for communicating with people. What I find totally unacceptable is the way people are making personal comments about the actors in soaps. Now, I know people are commenting, complaining about the storylines in Emmerdale, Coronation Street, fair enough. But to make actual comments about the actors, I think it's terrible. I mean, I read that report the other day, somebody said, oh, that's a terrible actor. The producers must have been scraping the bottom of the barrel when they cast them. Another actor is taking time off. I think he's got a health problem. People are saying, oh, I hope he's taking some acting lessons when he's off. I think that's absolutely dreadful.
It's shocking, Gordon. And you know yourself, if you're at all in the public eye, everybody's got a bit of an opinion. I mean,
very early on in my broadcasting career, I learned that for everyone who likes you, there'll be somebody who doesn't. Well, fair enough, you've got to accept that. But to make these personal comments, these people are human beings with feelings. How can people go in and make personal comments about these actors? I think it's absolutely disgraceful.
Well, I remember you were terribly kind to me when somebody had left an answer phone message and said, presenting television. You couldn't present a television dinner. And I remember you saying, oh, I think you could just ignore that.
Exactly. Another thing, Scott, do you remember now, David, when we worked together in television, when it came to a commercial break, after the break, it had to be to either a passage of time or a completely different scene.
Yes.
But nowadays, in nearly every program, the soaps, they come back to exactly the same scene after the commercial break. It's just obviously
show it again.
Somebody's
had a bad idea, Gordon, and they've managed to sell it to somebody else who wasn't quite sure what they were doing. That's what happened. You see, if you look in our day, all the people had come up through the ranks and had an idea what everything was about. And, everything had to be very carefully cleared and checked and what have you. So, that's why the output was actually so good. Even then, you got your critics. But I'll give you an example. Two things, Gordon, while you're on.
A long time ago, we worked together, wasn't it?
Well, it's 40 years, Gordon.
Time goes by so much quicker the older one gets.
Yes, it absolutely flies in. But I was going to tell you something that would make you smile. I sang a wee song on one of my videos just for a bit of fun. And I don't sing terribly well. I've not got the best voice in the world. Let's have it straight. And that's quite funny. But this guy said, oh, what song are you murdering now, Scotty? I said, would you like to sing it so we can hear how it should be done? I couldn't do that. No, anytime I sing, it clears the bar. I said, oh, well, I've filled a lot of bars by singing.
Anyway, it's very nice having a chat with you again.
Lovely to hear you, Gordon, and hashtag stay fabulous.
Yes, we'll do all the best to you. I'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you for your support. It's much appreciated.
It's a pleasure.
Bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, sir. There we are. Now, guys, that's Gordon Roddick. Doesn't need any introduction. A lot of you will be very familiar. Gordon, with that lovely, rich voice, was one of our announcers for, 30, 40 years, and then did all the transmission controlling at Scottish Television. Wonderful to hear him. Mary, phone in. First caller from the United States gets a free Cadillac. Tupsler, hey, you must be loaded. Were you ever on radio, Clyde 261? John Doe, I certainly was. I used to present the Clyde Cayley on a Saturday night for, I don't know, a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. So there we are. I can't do that. I'm not in the US. Jerry says, get the Prezi. Cat sent from... Wait till we see, Jerry. I need to see more of this. I think we've run out of space, Jerry. I can't see the next bit. So there you go. I tell you, that's our Jerry there. Get the Prezi cat sent from South Korea. Ah, right. Right. I haven't got that as yet, Jerry. So there we go. I tell you, but thank you so much. And a big hug to Cat, I say to you. Now, who have we got here? Let's just move up and see. Very, very busy tonight. Good evening, Scotty. Opinions on Maggie Thatcher. She was a remarkable woman and an excellent politician, but she made a terrible mess of Scotland. Hi, Scotty, it's Lisa. I used to call you all the time. Do you remember me? Lionheart. How lovely to have you with us. And Dinky Doo. Hello, good sir. Hello, everybody. There we are. Who else have we got on here? Improvement sent a thunder hammer. Guys, we never ask for anything on Scottie McClue. But if you happen to be watching on the TikTok, there's a little goal right there. And if you want to put a red rose in or a wee heart me or something, feel free so to do. Posting it through the letterbox. Right, Jerry? Oh, I've got you now, Jerry. Yes, of course. What am I talking about? Wonderful stuff. I'm north of the US, says Mary. Dinky do. Absolutely, Jerry. No problem at all. All safe and arrived. There's the wonderful Jim watching tonight. Fantastic, Jim. Lovely to have you with us. And Dinky do. Scotty, there's a line free if you want to call me. Yes, that's what I'll use that line. Right, I'm using Professor Numptyhead's line. Numptyhead, there's a line free if you want to call me. Hi, Scotty. Love listening, says Ronnie. Dinky do. Ronnie, I tell you. Good chat tonight, guys, by the way, and great numbers. Fantastic stuff. Who have we got on the phones? You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Scotty is Tups O'Hay, of course.
Tups, of course. How could I even ask?
Man is bouncing tonight.
We're busy tonight. I'll tell you what we've done, Tups. We've gone on to the multi-streaming.
Wow.
And that's probably making something of a difference.
Oh, wow, fantastic. Well, I'll keep it quick. But
No, you don't have to keep it quick. I mean, we're just getting so many quality calls tonight.
I know. Well, that's why I phoned in. Of course, that's not really why I phoned in, because I just phoned in.
No, but that does sound good. That does sound good. That's why I phoned in.
Well, Gordon's chatting around, an extremely good call. He mentioned about social media criticising actors.
And listen, Tops, before you go on, it's not just you loving the sound of your own voice. We all love the sound of your voice.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, it is one of the many highlights of my week. Probably the highlight. Sorry.
Janet's gone, hey, that you're on.
Well, Gordon was saying about the unfair criticism of actors. Well, I'm going to do a very fair criticism of an actor because it's me.
Oh, sure.
As we discussed last week,
you've treaded the boards.
Yes, but while I was a student in the mid-90s, I was a runner for a year. While I was a student. Now, the runner is the absolute bottom of the pile when it comes to film and television production. You are the guy that does the dog's body work, but I can't complain about that. But I had, as we know, pretensions to be an actor. So after I finished 2 weeks on a TV show that the BBC did called Cardiac Arrest in the mid-90s, I worked in the props department, despite not even being able to hold a hammer properly. I knew the producer.
Now, Tubbs, can I just say something here? Can I interject? The lovely thing that I found, I've been involved in entertainment for over 50 years, shall we say, and there is no kind of class thing about the theatre. And also even film and television, they can have all their highfalutin chat. But at the end of the day, in the theatre, if you can sew on a button or make a decent cup of tea, you're far more important than the director. You know?
Yes, I would agree with you. But the film industry, I would argue, is different from theatre, because I've worked in both in a limited capacity. But in the film and television, and particularly film industry, it's
it's almost like officers and enlisted men.
Yes. Now, do you remember Ralph Richardson, the great actor?
Of course, yes.
Sir Rafe. Now, Ralph Richardson was asked one time, he drove a motorcycle, and he was asked one time about the difference between filming and being in the theatre, and he loved the theatre. He said, if I was filming and we wrapped it up at 10 o'clock at night, by 10:05, I would be on my bike and away. He said, if I'm in the theatre and it's curtained down at tabs in at 10 o'clock, he said, it could be midnight before I've left the theatre by the time I've had a wee chat with everybody.
Very much so.
Do you see?
Well, I had some acting experience. Then I went into production, and there was, I was a runner, as I say, the lowest rung, and one of my jobs was to distribute bottles of cola around the actors' Winnebagos. And I had already picked up this actress earlier on who I knew I had worked with as an actor, but now I'm in production. And I knocked on her door. The idea was that we had to pass around the bottles of cola between all the Winnebagos, because they all had fridges, and if you leave them all in the catering bus, if you've got 60 bottles of cola, you'll end up with 60 half-empty bottles of cola, which are useless. So that's the distribution. So I knocked on the door, and it was this actress, Joyce, that I knew. And I'd picked her up earlier on in the day, and we were chatting and shooting the breeze. And I knocked on the door of the Winnebago, and Joyce answered the door. And I said, "Oh, Joyce, would you mind putting these just 2 bottles of cola into your fridge?" "Ah, yeah, no problem at all." And the production manager was passing by at the time, and this is the difference between theatre and movies. And she literally leapt in front of me as if I tried to shoot Joyce. And she said, "You don't get the artists to do that kind of thing, right?" Well, she's an artist. She paints. So that's the difference between, the crew in a film and the artist.
Oh, yes. And I remember a theatre director one afternoon, and it was dress rehearsal, and they were in full flood on stage, and suddenly a bulb popped, and you heard the talk back Burble from the control room and said, "We've lost 46 pink." He said, we're going to have to change that bulb. And he said, "Right, hold it, everybody. We need to get the techs. The techs want to get a light change, right?" And this actor goes, "Oh, for goodness sake," like this. And he turns to me and goes, "Shut up, or I'll get the techs to come out here and laugh at you when you dry."
Well, there's a very famous Scottish actor who burnishes his socialist credentials, and we were all working on a film for free because the producer was funding it himself, and he was a good provider of work. And I heard him, after I'd made him his cup of tea, I heard this famous Scottish actor, when I'd walked away, he says, "You get your man to make another cup of tea and tell him to stir it this time." I'm thinking, wow.
Well, it's the old favourite. There's your tea. If you don't take sugar, don't stir it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was going to say that, as I say, I was motivated because Gordon mentioned about criticism of actors.
Do you know the one touch that I don't like about soap operas at the moment? They put on something that's a drama, quite clearly a drama, right? So nobody's died, although there might be half a dozen murders in it. Nobody's actually died. Then they come on at the end, and they get the announcer, poor soul, to say, "If you've experienced any of the problems you've just seen." And I think, excuse me, am I going to phone some helpline and say, "Yeah, we've had 6 murders in the house"? And I think, what are you doing? Because they're actually making the soap opera appear real.
I'm running the risk of giving too much personal information away, Scotty, but that's where I worked with the BBC. I worked in the social action helpline.
Oh, fantastic. Well, no, I'm all for social action in genuine cases. I used to have a file on my phone in, and I can remember one night I was broadcasting to Blackpool, it was, and I got this retired miner on. Miner, not minor. And I said to him, I said, oh, you'll be doing well. I was just, ribbing him. I said, I'm a retired miner, he says. I said, oh, you'll be doing well with a white knuckle finger and all that. Yeah, you'll be claiming for all that. Worth a good few quid. Nice big pension from the coal board. He went, no, mate, I don't get out. I don't get out. I said, you must get your pension from the... No, just my old age pension. I said, oh, hold on a minute. So I gave him a number out my big fat file, right? I said, you phone them in the morning, and just for a bit of fun added, and tell them you've been talking to SCOTTIE McCLUE on national radio, right? Anyway, he phones me later in the week. He'd got himself a backdated pension. I think it backdated for... can't remember if it was a year or a couple of years, and he got £140 a week from phoning the number. Now, it's his money, right? But, I couldn't get this poor soul off the phone in. He phoned every night. Can't thank you enough. I said, you don't have to thank me. It's your money.
Absolutely. But that's the power of the media, isn't it? But what I initially came on to, it's busy tonight, so I'll be quick. But
yes.
When I worked in the production of a BBC medical drama, while I was a student, it was called Cardiac Arrest.
Yes.
And I'd worked for 2 weeks on the production side of it, making a ham fist of everything I did in the props department. But I had gone on extensively about my acting credentials, which are very small, but nevertheless, you talk yourself up in film. So I got offered a job. I wanted I said, have you got an extra job? I'll take an extra. What I didn't realise, and they didn't tell me, was it's what's known as a featured background artist. So you have to actually act.
If you're featured, yes.
I turned up at the production thinking it would be just money for old rope, and next thing they've got me in pajamas, and they've got me in a bed in the hospital set with a camera attached right to the foot of the bed, and with no lines to say, but they're all discussing the setup, and I'm thinking, good God, I'm going to have to act here, And so, and it was as unrehearsed as that would be. And one of the characters said that she caught hepatitis from me apparently, and it was a terrible series. Nothing I've been in was ever any good, by the way. But so I realised, and I hadn't been given any prep whatsoever, so I had to just do it. And it was broadcast on BBC One, and I'm not sure if it's still available on YouTube. But oh my goodness, because I don't have any lines to do when the character she jabbed herself with a needle. One of the main characters jabbed herself with a needle that she just had inside me, and I'm supposed to have hepatitis. But I don't have a line, so what I do is it's the worst bit of William Shatner type acting without any words said that you have ever seen in your life. Fantastic. And it was on television, and I'm raising my brow and oh my God. But not vocalising it. I can't say it. Oh, I'm amazed.
Yeah, because the speaking part was different. If you were smart, what we used to do when we were students, we did extra work. And the trick was to try and hide a wee bit out of shot. Some of the dafties tried to get featured, but what they didn't realise was the director came round at the end. He went, now, I don't think we've seen you today. Do you want to come back tomorrow? And we've definitely seen you, so that's you finished today. Thanks. So, we got an extra day's work.
Well, they left me in, and the show. So I was going to say it couldn't have been that bad, but it was very bad.
Not at all. Don't do yourself down, Tups.
I'll let you go because it's a busy night.
Busy
for
night
you, by the
tonight,
way.
but lovely to hear you, and dinky do.
All right, take care, man. See you soon.
There we are. That's our Tupswahey. Always a great call. Do you know what I mean? John does saying, what did you think of the rugby today? Wow, interesting. Elise says, loving your conversation, Mary. Mary's talking about bear meat. So there we are. You can't eat bear, can you? They say venison is healthier to eat than beef. I hear the big smile in Tupswahey's voice, says Janet. Like pea and ham soup without the chicken, says Jenny. Mary says, hand pink waving. What was that? Hang on. You're live on Scotty's phone in. Who's that?
Thank you, do, Scotty. It's Kareem. How are we?
Kareemla, how are we tonight?
I am very well, thank you, Scotty. How are you?
Oh, a busy night tonight. I'm absolutely blown away.
Yes, excellent callers.
I think the word's getting out, Kareem.
Yes. Well, and so it should.
The word is getting out. It takes a long time. Although, in fairness, I'm never too jaded about the whole thing because there's just so much media and there's so many demands on people's time, you know?
Well, as you've said before, Scotty, people get to watch these things at different times, not live. It's throughout the day at different times.
Yes, and I mean, we did a thing this week, popped it up, 32,000 people watched it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're out there.
Okay, yeah, Scotty, it just takes time to build up, but like, share, subscribe, and that's you're on your way.
Like, share, subscribe, and off we go. What I'm needing, Kareem, is everybody to subscribe to the new YouTube channel, because I've split my YouTube channel. We're demonetized on the movies because it's the movies, so the money goes to the film companies. Fine, I do it for love. I don't mind, not a problem. But also because we're going live now with so many talk shows, I think we should split the talk shows and the movies. Now, it's madness in a way because we've got, I think, about 47,000 subscribers, 48,000 subscribers to the YouTube channel, and I've got 30 subscribers to the one I started last Sunday. So I'm needing everyone just to go and subscribe purely so that I can get the live streaming on.
Yes.
You see?
But with that, are you live on both of them just now?
No, I'm live on one of them just now. I think because I've only got 30 subscribers so far. So if everybody goes to SCOTTIE McCLUE Talk Show on YouTube and just subscribes, that'll get us started. So I'm live on a number of channels. I'm live on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Yes.
You see?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's good from that point of view.
TikTok? You're still on
TikTok?
TikTok?
Yes, we're live on TikTok as well. So it's very, very big stuff.
Yes, excellent. I bumped into somebody the other day, Scotty, and I won't name the supermarket. It's within a shopping centre in Newton Mearns.
Right.
I think you'll get an idea. And it's not the posh end, it's the other end. The supermarket. And it was a security guard called Campbell, and he was asking for you.
A nice man. A very, very nice man.
Yes, he was asking for you.
Yes.
I said, yes, Scotty's on his talk shows. He's still going live, and the audience are coming in. People are calling. But next time I call in, I'll pass that message.
Please do, because as I say, extremely nice man and very interesting to talk to.
Always has lots of interesting stories.
Yes.
From his past.
Yes.
So
great people. I just love talking to people, and I think that's why I've just made it my life.
Yeah.
No,
it's absolutely, Scotty.
And it makes me laugh when on the odd occasion on radio, quite a lot actually, you see some very famous people in. And I've said to another member of staff, is that who I think it is? And aye, go and have a chat with them. He'll love to chat to you. And I said, but make sure you've got time because you'll talk the hind legs off a donkey. And I thought, well, that's a bit rich coming from me.
I think, Scottie, what you've just said there, I think that's a problem in society as well, where a lot of people are not talking enough.
They're not talking enough, and also people make assumptions. I can remember when I was training as a young actor, somebody said, but is it all right to speak to actors, after a performance, if you see them coming out and said, please do, and tell them how much you enjoyed their performance, because you'll be amazed at how few people they actually get to speak to.
And it can end up quite lonely, people just...
Well, if you're finishing your work, you've got to remember, when I was doing late night phone-ins, I was talking to millions, but I was finishing work at maybe 2:30 in the morning. Now, nobody wants to play at 2:30 in the morning. And because you maybe didn't want to eat something before you went on, because you were just that tiny bit nervous, you'd think, I'm a wee bit hungry, actually. So you'd go into a garage and maybe get an egg baguette that had been there since lunchtime. You might get a grab bag of crisps, and you might get some fizzy drink. So not the best diet. So it's just, people don't want to play. They want to be entertained, but they don't want to play at that time of night. And I had to explain to people that you need to be at your best at 10 o'clock at night when people are winding down and going to bed.
It's a job, and it's, you need to motivate, you want them to listen, and so... And
I would quite often stay and read the newspapers, which were just coming in. The newspapers were huge in Scotland in those days, and they were important. Nowadays people go, I don't know when I last bought a paper, that kind of thing. But the papers were there. Two of them had, two newspapers that shall be nameless, had daily circulation, I think, of around 650,000 each. And it was a war. And I was part of that war at one point. But they printed up till maybe 3:15 in the morning. So you could go to the garage at 3:30 and get the newspaper for the morning.
You'd get the news before everyone else.
Yes. And sometimes the newspapers would ring me to say, unless there's a disaster or something, Scottie, just to let you know your front page tomorrow.
Hey. Good times. But it shows you how society's changed, in terms of media. And I think so rightfully so questioning all media now. I think...
I think they have to, because it's no longer opinion. So as the money has gone from distribution, so you're not getting 20 pence from almost every day, 50 pence from every day in the morning. You're not getting that. So they're then looking for other sources of income, and then they're thinking, we'd maybe better fall into line with the party line here. So you don't get the level of criticism. One of the big newspapers, its thing from about the 1700s was to knock the government in power. Now, nobody's really knocking the government now to that extent. And the broadcasters are not doing it either. So you're not getting a journalist popping up and going, "What? Have you seen what the government's come up with today? What a load of old codswallop." Because then they become public enemy number one and they disappear.
It's quite sad that society is moving that way, and it's sad that it's been allowed to happen. Because think what it's going to be like 10 or 20 years down the line if that's going to continue that momentum.
Well, the mainstream public service broadcaster really sort of caved in a bit in the 2000s when something big was happening. And that's as far as I'll go with that. Otherwise, they'll chop the call out.
But I think, the listeners just now will have an idea. And I'm sure they'd be able to tell you a story where they've seen the media have been really biased, or they've not pushed someone, or they've favoured someone else over someone else when it's wrong. And we can, not to name anything, but you can see what's happening in the world just now, and how the media are practically deadly silent on it when they should be really.
Well, a
screaming
time
from
I was
what's happening.
absolutely banjaxed by the whole thing. I'd watched the late Alex Salmond being interviewed and giving a very fulsome answer and a very interesting answer. And then the broadcaster went on at night, who should be nameless, and said, we asked the First Minister, but he didn't answer. And I thought, you know, and I mean, that was brought to everyone's attention, that one, you know.
Yeah. Well, when they shoot themselves in the foot, though, when they start to play dirty tricks like that, don't they? But people are waking up to that and seeing that as well, and that's partly why people are not buying newspapers nowadays or not believing what they're seeing in the news, because it's more. If you've got your local news that can get that, you can actually get to know the real story. You would listen to that rather think, is that true that we've been told by?
Although it's always been with newspapers, it's quite interesting. I can remember going back literally 50 years, and I was reading and I said, well, it's interesting because the such and such said about so-and-so this morning. And they went, who owns that newspaper? And I thought, yes, of course. So, you know, they like to put their line, but people like that as well, and they like to fall in behind it. You know, I don't want to buy that left-wing rag. I want a right-wing rag. I don't want that right-wing rag. I want something that's a bit more for ordinary people. You know that. And what used to be funny, Kareem, you'll love this. Where I lived as a young person when I started work, there was a trust. A trust the passengers at the station, and you put your money in the wee tin and picked up a paper, and your business guys with the three-piece suits would pick up not just one paper, the big broadsheet paper, maybe even one that was mainly finance. They would also pick up the rag, and they would read the rag from cover to cover, not touch the big paper, and then leave the rag on the train and put the paper under their arm and go to their office. Giving the impression they were a such and such reader, you know.
I think nowadays as well, though, it's all on your phone. You can get all this information.
Well, you get everything on your phone before. I mean, it amazes me when one of the big broadcasters will go, we have learned, and I think you've learned. We all read that last week.
Oh, exactly. How many times have something came up in the newspaper if you just pick something up for it? But yeah, you're right. That happened last week, or I heard about this last week. Why is this in the paper now? You know, get with the time.
So it's strange. I mean, I think a lot of the so-called mainstream media are going to have to address when they go the latest news this lunchtime. You think, is it really the latest news?
I think the next stage regarding that, which can go either way at the moment because we're starting it, is through the artificial intelligence. If you, I mean, your TikTok listeners just now, you know, once you finish tonight, no doubt they'll be scrolling through lots of videos. But how many AI videos? There's a lot of funny ones that are coming on just now, but you know, they look deadly real. You know,
I have a good look at stuff and also see where it's coming from, how many followers, you know. So if it's something that's very heavy, serious news, like the end of the world is happening now, and then you see it's from Daft Jimmy, who's got 2 followers, you know, you think, nah, I don't think that. I think we'll go for that. So I would urge people to check everything out. If it comes from Scottie McClue, it's okay.
They've got other ones where they've got like Trump, you know, and dancing away and saying things that he's not even done. And that's where we're going with AI. It's quite scary. And if this is now, what is it going to be down the line 10, 20 years' time?
It's very interesting. But as somebody said to me the other day, just let everything go. Just watch what's happening. It's interesting. Lovely talking to you.
Very much.
Great chat, Kareem, and Dinky Doolah.
Have a great week. Speak
and
next
you,
week,
sir.
Scottie.
Look forward to it. Ta-ra. There we are. That's our Kareem. Always good. Now, who have we got here? I like bison more than moose, says Mary. It's very lean. Deer is good. I hear the big smile in Tuxer Hayes' voice. I never had bear meat, but bears eat anything. I don't know if you can have bear meat. I tell you, gosh, we've got a lot here. What have we got? 48K here, says Isabel. Excellent stuff. Mary I lived in Montreal for a year, so all I ate was sugar snacks. Tops for hey, did you ever eat a French Canadian dish? You're live on Scottish Footing. Who's that?
It's Numpty from Complaints, Scottie.
About time you came on.
I'm sure we've spoken before.
I don't know that we have, but tell me more. Just talk away, and if anything comes to mind.
Well, I've got a complaint, Scottie. That's
right,
why
well, do you want me to put you through to complaints?
Well, I'd like to speak to the big boss.
Oh, the big boss. Well, they don't come in at the weekend. Could I take a message?
Right, my complaint's about these doorbells with the video cameras, Scottie.
Oh, yes. Well, a lot of them are apparently very helpful.
Well, I think they're a nuisance.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm needing milk.
Oh, I see. So,
Aye.
so wait a minute. So tell us, what's your problem?
Well, I'll get caught.
Oh, I see. If
I'm going out for milk.
Oh, I see. If you lifted the milk.
Caught. You get where I'm coming from?
Oh, we always get where you're coming from, Numpty.
Now, Scottie, listen. Are you listening to me, Scottie?
I'm always listening to you.
No. What's this? Are you going back on the wireless?
I might well be. Yes, we're in big talks at the moment, and the good thing is I'm talking to Sheffield and South Yorkshire Essentials, a massive station, and these stations, a lot of them are replacing the old local stations, and of course McClue has a huge following in Yorkshire.
Right.
You see,
Right.
So that might become our core, but don't lose heart, because nowadays you can hear stuff everywhere. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Aye, well, listen, Scottie.
Are you with me?
I'm getting a livable lass's job when you're back on the wireless. I've been after it for 30
You
years.
have. Would you like that job?
I'd love to be the new livable
I
lassie.
think you'd be very good at it, but I have to say it's very, very hard work. And did you not tell me once that you're a bit averse to hard work?
I didn't mind blathering on the phone, Scottie.
How is your typing? Could you type all the names in and take them off when they hang up?
I'll just call them anything.
Can I honestly tell you, I worked, the original Lovable Lassie was one of Scotland's top typists, seriously. And she was just amazing, right? We never got a call wrong. One night I had one of the boys said he would fill in because she wasn't in and they couldn't get anybody willing to do it simply because it made people nervous. So he's standing and I said, right, if you can put up on the screen, he went, no, never mind that. And he was writing down on a sheet of paper and standing at the glass going, line 2, Mary.
Now listen, Scottie, it was interesting, very interesting having Gordon Roddick on earlier
Wonderful, man. Wonderful.
However, there was one thing I have to pick him up on.
Yes.
That was when he was talking about the talk back.
Yes, the talk backs, yes.
Now, does he know, Ken, we're now in the digital age. That's the old analog systems you've got to talk back on.
So what would you do now, would you say?
I would say it's a nuisance. Feedback.
No, not feedback. Talk back. Talk back was between the studio and your ear hole. So when I was broadcasting, I would maybe think I'd 9 seconds. Talk back might say to him, 5 seconds.
Right, so what's this talk back Gordon was talking about?
That's the talk back. No,
he's your ear.
No, but he's talking about the talk back between the controller and the presenter. So when you're reading the news, you hear them go, you're reading the news and you go, this report from Professor Numpty Heed. And as you say, Professor, you hear them go, 3, 2, 1, Numpty Heed. And then comes the report, right? Now, you also hear if they go, we haven't got it. Can you please read on? Read on.
But Gordon was complaining about the talk back.
No.
Yes.
No, he wasn't complaining about the talk back.
Yes, he was, Scotty. You played back the tape.
Oh, the tape. That's the old age.
He did it for the tape.
We're in the digital age. There's no tape.
Indeed. Anyway,
Now
listen,
then.
what's your time? Because the shops are shutting at 10 o'clock sharp.
Aye, and you'll need to get out there to get your supplies.
And listen, Scotty, just before I go, can I tell you a fascinating fact?
Oh, please do.
You're quicker walking from Edinburgh to Glasgow than you are flying, Kenna.
I would think that would be right. I went down south to a family funeral once, and people said, just take the plane, it's only an hour. Sometimes you'll be down in 50 minutes. And do you know that if the timetable had been right, if I'd got the train, it would have been faster than the flight with all the palaver, taking your shoes off, emptying your aftershave down the sink, etc., etc.
Let me tell you quickly. I could have got a flight from Edinburgh to Glasgow.
Right.
I would have to stop off either Belgium and then change, and the whole thing would cost me about 600 quid.
Good Lord.
And it's about 12 hours to fly from Edinburgh to Glasgow.
Well, I mind one night I came up from London to Edinburgh, and we flew in. I could see the bridges and everything. And I heard then the pilot comes on. You know, they've got the uncultured voices, and he says, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Glasgow."
Aye.
And everyone went, "Glasgow!" And then there was a pause, and then it was, "Sorry, I beg your pardon, Edinburgh." I knew it was one of those Scottish places.
Right. But the thing is, you can get, let's say, flights from Edinburgh to Glasgow. One of them, you have to change at Amsterdam.
Right. And why is that a problem? You could go Dutch.
I could walk quicker.
You could go Dutch on the money. Why don't you just take the flyer, the bus, the express, the Maybury? You get yourself to the Maybury.
I don't like public transport. I like first class.
Oh, right. Oh, listen to you. Oh,
aye.
Are you sure you should be on talking to the likes of me?
Indeed, indeed.
Listen, you take great care of yourself, Numpty Heed.
And you as well, Scott. And remember, I want the lovable lass's job.
Right. Well, have a think about it. I think you might interview well, because you talk a good game.
Absolutely. And you talk nonsense. Now, where you go?
Think you do? Never heard so much nonsense in all my life. There we go. The First Nation peoples or Native Americans make bannocks, says Mary. God, there's a fair bit of chat going on here, guys. What have you been doing? Good to see you, Scotty. Thank you, Celtic Fiddle. There's a bison in the hoose. There's another ring to it. There's a bison loose about this. No, it's not quite the same. What an amazing show tonight, guys. Wow. There we go. Now, here we go. There's the wonderful Gordon Robertson. Gordon and wee Oliver have dropped in to say hello. Hello, Gordon. And I valued your lovely comment on the Facebook. Also agreed, bannock bread. If you go to Selkirk, the shop says the home of the Selkirk bannock. Hey. Good night, Susan. Good night. Scottish Nice. Let's fight back. Thank you. There's the wonderful Melinda Lemon. Good night and thank you, Scotty. Best wishes and God bless. You too, my darling. Brilliant show tonight, Scotty. Says Tops. We're here. Guys, we're just about out of time. Absolutely bouncing. Melinda, what's Melinda saying? This has to roll up just till I see what's happening here. There we go. I've got another comment from Melinda. I can just see Melinda's name. But that'll roll up when somebody else makes a comment. In fact, we are actually out of time, guys. Right, I'm going to sing you the goodbye song. And I want you all to join in. Are you ready? After two. Goodbye, Oh, wait a minute. We've got a wee problem here. Right, that's it. Right. After two. Goodbye, everybody, goodbye. Take care, everybody, as you go. Goodbye, everybody. Auf Wiedersehen. Au revoir. And a cheerio. Ta-ra, my darlings. God bless you. Love you all lots. Woo! There we go. We'll just sort that. And then I have to say goodbye here.